correctly. If you answer only one part correctly, you will get part marking. All right?
He make timpopo. He make tampopo.
You make the sun and the moon, hey?
Sun and moon, Mary.
Rayan, you saw the clip, and the question for you is identify both the characters in the clip, and your time starts now. Uh-oh, your time is up. The correct answer is Robinson Crusoe and Friday. May we have the clip for Atulya on the screen, please?
Grandfather, I found my bear. I also found my hay.
Okay, Atulya. The question for you is, what is the name of the old man in the clip, and name this famous classic? And your time starts now.
The name of this famous classic is Heidi, and the old man's name is Alp Ohi.
Please repeat the old man's name again.
Alp Ohi.
Alp?
Oh.
That is correct. He was called Uncle Alp, and you guessed it absolutely correct. Famous classic is Heidi. Bingo, you got it correct. Okay, may we have the clip for Rayan on the screen? Name the classic on which this movie adaptation is based, and where did the boys go to hide after being chased? And your time starts now.
Ma'am, the name of the classic is Oliver Twist, and ma'am, the boys go into another street when Oliver is being chased.
Absolutely correct. Brilliant performance. That is the correct answer. The classic is Oliver Twist, and they go to Fagin, their leader, after being chased. Great. May we have the clip for Shreem on the screen, please?
But they won't get it out of me. What's rightful mine is mine. Give me a hand here. We'll do that one-legged man yet.
What are the characters looking for in the chest? And name this all-time favorite classic, and your time starts now.
Ma'am, the name of the classic is Treasure Island, and the characters are looking for treasure.
You have nailed it, Shreem. Absolutely correct. Brilliant performance. That is the correct answer. The characters are looking for the map.
Thank you, Ma'am Zebish. The battle for the winner is getting intense with each passing round. Let's take a look at the scoreboard after round 3. So give it all you got, champions. All the best for the next round. Over to the Quizmasters.
So let's get rolling, and here comes the first question for Mohammad Babar Khan from CMS Rajendra Nagar Campus 1. Identify the idiom that relates to the meaning of the first sentence and fill up the blank. Your sentence is, Max greatly resembles his father. He is, your options are...
Ma'am, the chip of the old block.
Excellent. You did not even need the options, Babar. Very well done. Atulya, are you ready? Identify the meaning of the idiom, spill the beans. And your options are, 1, to be untidy, B, to be very talkative, C, to reveal something that is supposed to be kept a secret.
C, to reveal something that is supposed to be kept a secret.
That's absolutely correct.
Vihan Uppal is at 50 and Mohammad Babar Khan is at 40.
Samudra Manthan, the business presentation competition, demonstrated the students' depth from models on themes like Make in India and a step towards self-sustainability of India. In 6 minutes, the participants displayed their self-made business models and answered and replied to the queries.
All the best to everyone, and may the best idea win. First, we have school code
022. You may begin your presentation.
A very good afternoon to everyone present here. Today, we from 022 would like to present our idea for a startup, which is EcoPack. EcoPack is a sustainable solution to the styrofoam problem seen around the world using an indigenous plant called shola pea. So the problems that we wanted to tackle in the industry are shown here, which was the huge waste generation by the styrofoam packaging industry, the terrible effect on nature that this waste generation had, and the poor condition of indigenous artisans who work with Shola peat. The solutions we came up with were, number one, using Shola peat, a material very similar to styrofoam, we would provide better sponginess as a packaging material. We would provide fair prices to artisans. We would provide a completely eco-friendly alternative to something that takes 500 million years to degrade, and we would help the MSME sector in India.
Coming to our sales targets and other details, we're keeping the cost per kg at 148 rupees. Our yearly sales target is 5 million kgs. We'll be requiring 1,000 farmers per year. We'll be giving them a commission of rupees 100 per 1 kg of Shola peat they provide to us. We're making an assumption that each farmer will provide us 5,000 kgs of Shola peat each year. Coming to financing, our total yearly expenses budget is 516 million. Our profitability will increase by 30% to 56% to 78% to 97% over the 4 years. Our return on investment will be a constant 14% on target profit. Net profit will be reinvested, and we expect to break even in 5 years and 11 days. And following the 5th year, our extra profit will be channelized into a cash reserve and an expansion fund.
Yes, we come to the end of our presentation. We'll gladly take your questions now. Thank you.
This is a remarkable presentation, lovely. But you calculated 511 days for the break event. Can I know how that was? How did you reach over that point?
It was not 511 days. It was 5 years and 11 days. So
500. So I was just astronaut. It was 5 years 11. How did you come to this break even?
Yeah. So what the what the finances shows is that 14% of our target profit each year would be given back to the investor each year. So at the end of the 4th year, we'll have a debt of around 326 million. So we'll be able to pay off that 326 million even after keeping our net profit for reinvestment. So for 1 year, we'll be paying off that 326 million or something. That's that. So after that, we'll have a very small amount left to give back to our investors. So that will be given back in 11 days.
I appreciate, but there is a perfect formula that you need to follow up by calculating break-even point. You have got a rationalized answer, but you need to look at that formula also. I may not explain it because you can find it everywhere. So then it will be more concrete. Maybe some other figure will come out. But then overall, it's a perfect, very nice.
What triggered this idea for you guys, and how did you come up with this? Was there some trigger point for it? Have you done some interviews with the vendors that you will be sourcing these things from and your end client as well? So some survey or the interviews, if you've done that quickly, quickly.
Yeah, so sir, I'll be answering the question. The first thing that we did that brought this product to our mind is that we live in Bengal, and Shola peat is a pretty big thing in Bengal. Like, they make handicrafts, and we have seen the condition of these artisans firsthand. So the first thing that popped into my mind was these very skilled artisans who have developed these skills over generations. They're getting paid a pittance for their craft, and this really hurt me. And also, when I read up more about this indigenous plant called Shola peat, I realized that it is just the same malleability, ductility, and luster as styrofoam provides, which is a very, very harmful product. So I felt that we could replace the styrofoam, the product styrofoam, using Shola peat, while also providing a job to these undervalued artisans.
Good morning, everyone. Presenting you our joint stock company, the Gale Power Company. According to a survey that we made, we found out that India has been facing these three problems from a long time. There is inadequate supply of electricity, and even at a higher price. And there are very few alternative sources of renewable energy. Also, the people have been building dams for producing electricity, which has got adverse effects. So, our company produces a product that is an alternative for producing electricity at a reasonable price, and the electricity is produced from the sun, from the solar energy, the natural wind energy, and the wind energy produced by the passing vehicles. The demo of our product. When the vehicles move, the blades rotate and they convert that wind energy into electrical energy. Also, the solar panel on top of it traps the solar energy and converts it into electrical energy.
This is that you will be having the winds passing through vehicles. Is that the way you are going to produce the electricity?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, like we majorly focus on putting up the product in the highways because there the speed is very high as compared to the roads.
So what will happen if it is if no vehicle actually passes? There are certain times period when there is no vehicle, so we'll be having no production at that very time.
Ma'am, the solar panel also there, so the sun will trap the energy. So somewhere there is productiveness.
We welcome you all to the preliminary round of Tenali's Prashnavali, the quiz competition of Abhyuthanam 2021.
The link is now posted in the chat box. All the best to all the participants. The time starts now. The Google Form link is also posted in the WhatsApp group of Tenali's Prashnavali.
80007, please switch on your camera. Results for this round will be declared at 7 p.m. today on the WhatsApp group of Tenali's Prashnavali. Robert T. Kiyosaki once said, and I quote, "Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn." A big thank you to all the participants for taking part in this competition with such enthusiasm.
Qualities ingrained in you, and it is those values and qualities of yours that have taken you to places. And today we feel very proud when we say that yes, Arsh is our own student and he is the youngest historian of the world. So this is the pride with which I look at Arsh as our student. Well, Arsh, I would also like to mention to you here that this session of yours is being live streamed, and there are a lot of other students who are not visible here on this Zoom platform, but they are there watching you, very eagerly waiting to hear from you. God bless you.
Now, I would like to invite Sir to release the history magazine.
I hope that all of you would be able to hear me in the program. I think there was some technical glitch, so we have been joined a little late. But I hope that we would be able to know about the glory of Indian culture, Indian history, and the role this magazine would have to play, I would say, in the future, about inculcating the school children, the students in Indian history. Many a times we know that history is taught in the schools as a subject, but we cannot very much understand the importance of history as a subject in school curriculums. We think of history as a subject that has a lot of role to play, but in terms of the career or understanding other aspects of other subjects. But at least we remember that history is within ourselves.
Thank you, Harsh. Thank you, Weber, for continuing the legacy of our Arsh Ali by documenting the researches and inventions in the history magazine. A lot to follow.
Thank you so much, Arsh. God bless you. As always, we take great pride in you as our student who has led the way and made a difference in the world, as a student who has made a mark for himself in this world, as a student who has brought laurels to the institution. Well, dear Arsh, when I listen to you speaking, I've always told you I feel such a great sense of pride. But then I always remember you as a student of ours, a very polite, courteous, sweet little student of ours who always wanted to learn more and more, for whom knowledge was something he would delve into in a great detail. You had no limits to what you wanted to learn. You would go to any extent to gather information and knowledge. And I repeat what I said earlier. It is this thirst of yours that has brought you to where you are.
Morning to one and all present here. We welcome you all to the final round of Subhashita, the extempore competition of Abhyuthanam 2021. 80028, your preparation time is over.
The cottage industry is a form of unorganized sector in which people are engaged in craftsmanship, artisanship, work such as handicrafts, pottery, textiles, weaving, knitting, handloom, etc. And they are generally set up at individuals' home or nearby areas, and the workers use traditional equipments instead of fancy machines. The small enterprise sector provides employment to a huge number of people in India and contributes in the GDP as well. Small-scale industries are instrumental in reducing inequalities and the wedges between the rich, poor, and the ultra-poor. Such industries are labor-intensive and they make economical use of scarce resources and capital. During the national struggle for freedom, Mahatma Gandhi emphasized on the revival of Khadi and Charkha as a means of reviving the Indian economy, which had suffered a major setback because of the British interference.
80028, your preparation time is now over.
India is the spice capital of the world. India is considered as the largest exporter of spices, which consist of turmeric, red chili, salt, and even water. And in these spices, India has tried to gain the monopoly over it, which was also seen during the Salt March, that India, when taken away the right to produce their own salt, were very angry over it, and they did the Salt March of Dandi.
India is known for its spiritual side all over the world. You know, we are the people who care about souls and the afterlife and how our actions define the kind of lives that we lead. We often note that it always tends to go incline over one side. Either it's too spiritual, some people are too spiritual that they leave everything and they move on to the Himalayas, that's a common saying, or they're too materialistic, where they don't care about how their actions affect other people, about the greater repercussions of what we do and what we say.
Irrespective of who wins this competition, Team Abhyuthanam would like to applaud and praise the efforts and hard work of each one of you. Thank you so much, everyone. You may now leave the meeting.
I don't know how in 30 seconds a topic like nirvana, moksha, spices of India, textiles, oh my goodness me, I wouldn't have made it through this round at all. It's a fantastic effort from these young guys and girls. I congratulate them for their confidence and the kind of, competitivity with which they competed with others. Having said that, all have prepared quite well, but I don't know if they had access to internet sources for their 30 seconds.
Thank you, children. Very well done. Let's all of you, all the participants, you were very, very good. And as announced already, the result will be announced tomorrow at 12:30. We begin with the award ceremony. You can join in to see who won. Okay? Thank you so much.
Good morning and Jai Jagat to all dignitaries, guests, delegates, eminent judges, teachers, and my dear participants. With great joy and immense exultation, I feel privileged to extend my warm and cordial welcome to all present here.
For making us unto
Our 6 finalists are WC004 Rajoshri Chakravarti, WC015 Trisha Shah, WC016 Sara Soni, WC024 Agastya Trikha, WC033 Utkarsh Singh, WC038 Kabir Menon. Congratulations once again. Rules for the final round are wordplay. The finalists have to recite one acrostic and one limerick poetry on the theme or topic which has already been given to them. The participants will appear on the screen twice. Originality. The poetries should be the original thought, idea, and expression of the participant. Creativity and imagination. The poetry should reflect the extent of creativity and imagination of the participant. Essence of the poem. I welcome WC015.
Many leave their dreams for tomorrow. I, for one, can't wait another day. Life can be full of sorrow, except for those who follow their dreams and say, sadness will never reach me. The faith in me leads the way. On my path, I may make some mistakes.
That was indeed a lovely performance. I welcome WC004.
Love what you do. Emancipate the phoenix within you. Soar high up. The sky is yours. Oblivious must be ignored. Gifted how God wanted you to be. Outstanding is your key. Breathtaking is your soul. Enchanting is your goal. Feathering your vibrance. Organically moving into excellence. Emitting your spark. Incredibly being reborn.
It was a captivating performance. Well done. Now I call upon the next participant, WC016. Words well knitted indeed. It's time to call our next shining star with the acoustic poetry, WC024.
Myriad thoughts run through my mind. I stand here staring, my thoughts entwined. Life is a journey of miles, not a destination, each one of us living without cessation. Some happy, some sad, some just getting by. To have a heart that's willing to try. One day at a time, one syllable in the rhyme. Go be a master, don't get caught in the grind. Oh, pretty soul, go forth, don't wait. Beyond the ocean of mundane, steer your fate.
Wow, that was an apt background. Really incredible.
Namaste. My name is Kabir Menon and I am a student of grade 7. My code is 038. Now I will present to you a limerick on the topic Euphoria. I'm the best driver in Siberia. I chauffeur for my Queen Victoria. A swivel and a spin. I speed with a mean grin. And as she passes out, I'm filled with Euphoria.
Thank you, Madhavika ma'am. Thank you, Jaya ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Well, the judgment is done, but we have to wait for the results. The results will be announced on 9th February during our felicitation ceremony at 12:30 p.m. IST. I request all the participants to be a part of the felicitation ceremony. The Zoom link and YouTube link has already been shared with all. On this note, we come to the end of the session.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. We welcome you all to the final round of Shastrarth, the debate competition under Abhyudanam 2021. Shastrarth is an intellectual debate. This was a philosophical and religious debate in which scholars participated to reveal the inner meaning of scriptures.
10 senior students in the competition, Shubhashita, beautifully portrayed the Indian culture. Senior students debated vehemently on Indian politics in the competition, Shastrarth.
020 participants speaking for the motion.
Greetings to one and all present here.
The topic under the hammer today is that India's politics is the reason for the country's backwardness, and I stand vehemently in proposition of the given motion. Let me begin by quoting Groucho Marx, who said, "Politics is the art of looking for trouble, finding it everywhere, diagnosing it incorrectly, and applying the wrong remedies."
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have 80020 participants speaking against the motion.
Greetings to one and all. Let me speak about the very word which forms the alpha and omega of this debate. The word is politics. Ladies and gentlemen, politics is defined as a set of activities which is directly related to the debate of political parties in power as well as related to the governance of a country. Now, let me first of all clear the very one misconception around which my worthy opponents will lean to prove their lopsided politics. Thus, if you stand against politics in India, you directly stand against governance in India. And I would like to leave my worthy opponents with one rigging question. Do you think that bad governance and anarchy can take you out of backwardness if good politics cannot? Thank you.
Thank you for your speech, ma'am. Judges, please note that the speaker exceeded her time limit by 10 seconds.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up, we have 80010 participants speaking for the motion.
Thank you, sir, for the recognition. Kindly tell me when I can begin.
Ma'am, your time starts now.
The Republic of India is the largest democracy in the world, the second largest country by population in the world, but unfortunately also a deeply backward nation. 8.4 crore Indians still find themselves unable to earn a respectable wage, and 189.2 million are undernourished, unable to break out of this vicious cycle of poverty and hunger. While a myriad of factors no doubt contribute to this condition, one seems to stand out: the deplorable state of politics in India. In fact, we can safely conclude that Indian politics is the main reason behind the country's backwardness. The exact definition of politics, which I'll be using in this debate, are all the activities associated with the governance of an area, especially the debates between the parties having power and the decisions that are made due to it. Write a sleeve and a brain drain. In the end, then, Indian politics is exactly how it was portrayed by a popular Hindi song, a narrow offshoot of a road, a patli gully, if you will. It has transformed into a cesspool of appeasement and red tape that continues to absorb all our hopes and dreams into its murky depths. Thank you.
Judges, please note that the speaker was well within her time limit. The floor is now open for refutation.
80028, Speaker 1, you are recognized. You may go ahead with your question.
Thank you for the recognition, Chair. Madam Speaker, you mentioned that the politics does not do anything. But for agriculture, ma'am, the government has introduced efficient farmer bills, but the public, especially the farmers, are condemning it blindly. So they don't even recognize its advantage. Don't you think the people are at fault and not the politics?
Thank you so much for your question. I'd like to answer it. Unfortunately, this is a cycle. So if the public is responsible, the problem is that the politics is responsible for the people rebelling. Instead of giving the laws a chance or even giving them a read through, most political tools today simply tweet about the things that have happened to Sikhs in the past or the things that the government has done against the farmers instead of giving them a chance to show why the laws are a good idea. Again, there are many political parties using this for their own political gain, trying to portray the government as heartless robbers of their minimum price, which is
your 1 minute
again
for answering the refutation is over. Next up, we have 80010, Speaker 2, speaking against the motion.
Firstly, let's go over the topic again. Indian politics is the reason behind the country's backwardness. Well, I disagree. What do we call our country? An underdeveloped country or a developing country? And in literal meaning, developing is actually it's moving forward. Being the 5th largest economy, I don't think India should be called as going backward. But still, let's debate over why it is not developed and still developing. Now let's get back to the main concern of the topic, that is the Indian politics is the reason for backwardness. Now again, Indian politics is not just the leaders fighting on TV, another misconception. And following a federal form of government, we make a stable and well-distributed political system. Well, in my opinion, the real reasons for backwardness are different. Firstly, the population. India has the 2nd largest population in the world and also has a pretty high population density. And that is the main reason for most of the other issues I would talk about later. And trust me, managing such a huge and equally important diverse population is not an easy task to do. But still, the Indian political system has done a tremendous job in improving it our population might be still increasing. But the fact is that since the existence of politics, the population growth rate has decreased and reached around 2%, which if followed similarly, will reach null in about 20 to 25 years and will start declining after that.
Sir, you mentioned in your speech that India did quite well in vaccine, and you reported that around 58 million people have vaccinated so far now, and you see this as an active politics. But I see it otherwise, because you see, why didn't then the government listen to the opposition members and several other epidemiologists who were saying that co-vaccine is actually not that effective and the government should not go forward with it before clinical trials 3 phases complete. So don't you think that government did this in a hurry and as a political stunt?
Next up, we have 80011.
The political system of India has been inspired by the systems of countries like the USA, UK and Japan. According to the government, each and every person in India has the power to participate in the decision-making process of the country. Let me ask everybody here, where was this power when on 25th June 1975, Indira Gandhi declared a state of emergency to stop the protests against the government? Where was this power when the entire state of Kashmir was cut off from mobile connections and every person was forced to stay indoors? Where was this power when gatherings of more than 4 people were banned in Uttar Pradesh, the most populous state of the country?
Judges, please note that the speaker was well within his time limit and the floor is now open for refutation.
The speaker mentioned that India is making tourist attractions and not investing that money somewhere else. Well, tourism in itself is a tertiary industry and brings a lot of economy. And if thought about some better economies, Singapore relies completely on its tourist attracted economy.
I would like to answer that Singapore is not only reliant on its tourist economy, it has many technological advancements, and if the money was had gone to people for educating them, then their jobs would have, the salary would have increased and the income tax would have gone to fund the government and the economy would have gotten boosted. And that's how I'd like to say that, my opinion is justified.
All of you guys did very, very well. It was a lot of strong points being put forward by pretty much everyone. It was great to hear thoughts on something that a lot of people seem to be very passionate about. Oftentimes you have in debates where a topic might be impersonal. It might be something important on a global or a national level, but doesn't really impact you on a day-to-day, in your day-to-day lives. And this topic seemed to have a lot of passionate responses as well, which seem to be coming from the heart and not just an argument that you've put together on paper. So that was good to see.
Thank you, first of all, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to listen to, such bright young people who will in the future be holding important positions in shaping what our country is going to be. So what struck me was, the content was really, really impressive.
Thank you, ma'am. We are all elated to have your benign presence and are totally stupefied by all of your words. The results will be announced tomorrow during the felicitation. The debate is now over.
Tenali's Prashnavali will be moderated by Tanisha Pranjal and me, Trisha Jaiswal. The person behind the screens operating the presentations is Jayant Singh. We also have with us our teachers in charge, Mrs. Pratibha Tiwari, along with Mrs. Alka Malik.
Here are some interesting moments from Tenali Prashnavali, the quiz competition.
The first round is multiple choice questions. When did the Surat split of the Indian Congress into extremists and moderates happen? Your options are 1909, 1906, 1907 and 1908.
1907.
That's the correct answer. Moving forward, next up we have participant from Mount Carmel College. Participant, can we begin? Who is known as the founder of Buddhist logic? And the options are Dignaga, Buddha, King Kumaragupta or Chanakya. And your time starts now.
B. Buddha.
Sorry participant, that is the wrong answer. The right answer is Dignaga. Who was the first speaker of the Indian Parliament? Your options are Sukumar Sen, R.D. Kataria, H.G. Kanya and G.V. Mavlankar. Your time starts now. Your time starts now.
G.V. Mavlankar.
And that is the correct answer. Which of the following amendments to the Indian Constitution is popularly referred to as the Anti-Defection Bill? Your options are 39th Amendment, 52nd Amendment, 42nd Amendment, or 61st Amendment, and your time starts now. Your time is up, and you've given the right answer. The famous ruler of the Gupta era who was known as Napoleon of India. Your options are Skandagupta, Mahendra Ditya,
Samudragupta.
and that is the correct answer. Who fought the Battle of Khanwa against Babur? Your options are Rana Sanga, Chandragupta Maurya, Ashoka, or Baji Rao II.
Rana Sanga.
And that is the correct option.
Begum of Awadh was the second wife of Nawab Wajid Ali Shah and rebelled against the British East India Company during the Indian Rebellion of 1857.
Begum Hazrat Mahal.
That is absolutely correct. Congratulations. He was a sepoy in the 34th Bengal Native Infantry Regiment of the British East India Company. He was arrested and sentenced to death after he attacked British officers in Barakpur on March 29, 1857. Your time starts now. That is absolutely correct. Robert T. Kiyosaki once said, and I quote, "Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn." A big thank you to all the participants for taking part in this competition with such incessant enthusiasm. Irrespective of who wins this competition, Team Abhyuthanam would like to applaud and praise the efforts and hard work of each one of you. Thank you so much. You may leave the meeting now.
Good morning and Jai Jagat. We are delighted to have you with us in the International Literary Fest, Wordcraft. So, this event, Turncoat in Theatre, is based on plays by the greatest poet, dramatist, and writer in the history. Yes, you heard it right. I am talking about none other than the master of wit and wisdom, William Shakespeare. The participants of the final round, along with their school codes, are WC004, Manita Chaturvedi, WC010, Sushma Bhardwaj Pathak, WC014, Samriddhi Sehgal, WC024, Ira Katoj, WC027, Suyash Tripathi, WC029, Harshita Rai. No wonder the participants have done so well. It's wonderful to see all of you here today.
I am Manita Chaturvedi, school code WC004, Mark Antony. Almighty Caesar, dost thou lie so low? Are all thy conquest, glories, triumphs, spoils shrunk to this little measure? Fare thee well, I know not, gentlemen, what you intend. Who else must let be blood? Who else is rank? If I myself, there's no art so fit as Caesar's death are, not no instrument of half the work as those your swords made rich with the most noble blood of this world. I do beseech ye, if you bear me heart, now whilst your purpled hands do reek and smoke, fulfill your pleasure, live 1,000 years. I shall not find myself so apt to die. No place will keep me so, no mean of death, as here by Caesar. I am Cassius.
Judges kindly note, the participant has taken 1 minute and 58 seconds.
Jai Jagat everyone, I'm Sushma Bhardwaj. My code is WC010 and I'm going to portray Mark Antony as the antagonist. Friends, Romans and countrymen, lend me your ears, I'm here to bury Caesar, not to praise him. When the poor have cried, Caesar has wept. Ambition should be made of sterner stuff, yet Brutus says he was ambitious and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that on the Lupercal, I thrice presented him with a kingly crown which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious and sure. Brutus is an honorable man. I do not speak to disprove what Brutus spoke, but I am here to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? Romans, countrymen and lovers, hear me
you may hear. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect to mine honor, that you may believe. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say, that Brutus' love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demands, why did Brutus rose against Caesar? Then this is my answer. Not because I loved Caesar less, but I loved Rome more. Who is here so base that will be a bondman if speak for him have offended? Who is here so vile that will not love his country? If any speak, for him have offended. Therefore I pause for a reply.
None.
So none have I offended. Now I'll be playing the role of Mark Antony.
To rock the stage, I would now like to call WC024.
California, Act 2, Scene 2. Caesar, I never stood on ceremonies, yet now they fright me. There is one within, besides the things that we have heard and seen. Recounts most horrid sights seen by the watch. A lioness had whelped in the streets, and graves have yawned and yielded up their dead. Fierce, fiery warriors fought upon the clouds in ranks and squadrons, and the right form of war, which drizzled blood upon the Capitol. This dream is all a misinterpreted. It was a vision fair and fortunate. Ye statues spouting blood in many pipes, in which so many smiling Romes shall suck reviving blood, and that great men shall press for tinctures, stains, relics, and cognizance, to give this day a crown to the mighty Caesar. If you shall send them a word, you will not come, their minds might change. Besides, it were a mock, apt to be rendered for someone to say, break up the center till another time, when Caesar's wife shall meet with a better dream. If Caesar hides himself, shall they not whisper, Lord Caesar is afraid?
Men, at some time, are master of their fate. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings.
Caesar. Caesar.
Caesar
Caesar.
and Brutus.
Caesar.
Why should that Caesar sound more than yours?
Caesar.
What is in him?
Caesar. Caesar.
Write them together. Yours is as pure a name. Sound them. Did God become the mouth as well?
Brutus. Brutus.
Weigh them.
Brutus.
It is as heavy. Conjure with them.
I would now like to call Dr. Ranjana Krishna to bless the participants with her words of wisdom.
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Okay. First of all, I would like to extend big congratulations for organizing this wonderful event, and especially this event, which was quite challenging, because you have to bring in the theatrical and the debating skills, and along with that, the task of choosing a character from Shakespearean plays. I mean, he's written such variety, and most of the students at times, they find it, a little tough, but you all have made it so interesting, bringing him alive.
One thing I would like to say, and I always say while I'm judging any event, winning and losing is actually not the thing. It is to participate and put up a very good show whenever you can. And there were technical glitches for one or two participants. I feel very sorry for them, but I appreciate whatever, the way you have done. Congratulations and all the best.
So thank you so much, everybody, once again, and congratulations all the participants. You were really good, and thank you, judges, for being there. Thank you so much, both of you.